I just talked with everybody what really struck me yesterday. In that times, you had to grow up very, very quickly.
Yes.
You know, like today, young kids are staying in puberty over 20. They're so protected. And in that days, you died with 38
Well,
or
life
40.
was shorter, yeah, life
Yes.
expectancy was shorter, so you crammed in a lot more.
Yes,
in
and
the
you
time.
know, diving into these times, you know, and working every day on set, wasn't that like sometimes also a very dark place to go on set? You know what I mean? The
Well,
feeling-
yeah, but I think it's one of the difficulties when you see a film and then you sort of imagine what the set would be like. It's not necessarily. Look, I was there quite briefly and very early on in the shoot, so yeah, I'm not you're qualified.
It was. There were moments when there was a little bit of darkness or a little bit of worry, a little bit of yeah. There were moments, but it wasn't like slitting your wrists type of thing. It was a good. I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed the experience in England when we were filming in England a lot.
in the studio, right?
We were in the studio, but we
Yeah.
were also filming in different castles and different stately homes. So I was put up in a bed and breakfast. So I'd have a nice single bed at the back of the bed and breakfast, and I was watching the football and drinking in country and pubs. So, so it was a
sounds
good
good.
time for me. I didn't have any stress.
But you also shot it in Budapest, right?
We did. That's when
What
I
was
did have
that
some stress.
experience?
Yes, I'm just.
I
It's a
was
different.
not.
Then it becomes a different thing. You
Yeah.
go to Budapest, and then you're dealing with different elements. You're out because the heat. We were filming in the summer. It's very, very hot, and we're out in the fields. We're riding horses. People have got chainmail on, armour. They're long days. It's long takes, and yeah, that was more difficult physically.
Because
I
I'm
think.
only asking a lot of actors when they have to stay a long time in the city, in Budapest, they really like it, you know. When they have a break, they go out, they eat well. It's a beautiful city.
It's
and-
a lovely city.
Yeah, you know it also.
I do, but no,
Yeah,
not from
yeah,
this production,
yeah.
but yeah.
You've been
I do.
there also.
Yes, I
Yeah.
spent about 6 months there, I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah.
And I've been there on set visits sometimes, and I always thought they have such well-trained people also there.
Yeah, they have great crew
Yeah.
and
They're-
stuff.
they're
It's
great,
a
yeah.
it's a wonderful city, Budapest.
Yeah, and also the king, you know, and I thought what people wore, I mean, all these armor they had to wear, and you already mentioned it when you had to shoot on horseback and everything. Isn't that something, are they lighter when you're an actor, or are they as heavy as?
No, it was pretty
They
much
were-
the real thing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was pretty authentic. Yeah,
But that must be horrible. I mean,
yeah. It
like-
was. It was. I mean, you'd have to probably Joel is, and because they, he's the man to ask about that.
Yeah.
I remember he said he was just very claustrophobic as well when he put the
course.
visor down, and he would think about Jesus. How would you go into battle with just seeing that? You can't see anything around.
And you can't hear anything. You know, it's like, yeah.
It's an alien sound to you, I would imagine. So that in itself could
Yeah,
freak you
absolutely.
out a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a tough way to fight.
I wouldn't
And
want to do it.
because you talked about challenges before. For you, doing this movie, in an ideal case, as an actor, you always learn something out of this working experience. What was your take of this?
Oh, look, I think when you really learn it is when you see it, and you learn. I don't know. My focus tends to be on what how one does what one does, and so in terms of that, I learned from watching it. But my time with it was much briefer than the lovely gentleman next to me.
Yeah.
What did you learn for yourself on the journey of filming?
I didn't really. I didn't really learn. I can't say that I learned anything. I picked up bits of history that I didn't, but I wasn't looking at it as and coming from it as a historical piece. But I did start to learn about the time and and that started to filter into my thought process and my just what I was thinking about the world that character was in. So those things became real things once I started to understand them. Just what it would be like to be around that time.
And I always thought you have also a lot of violence, but there was always, the weapon was always the answer for everything, to think
But it was a violent time.
Yeah, it was. When we look, seems to be more or less the way people have been for time immemorial.
Yeah.
It's just that if you were going to wage a war then with another country to solve some domestic issues, the consequences were, going to be felt by those fighting the battle and those affected by the economic outcomes, which is a little different now that we have, mass armies and we have weapons, to quote, of mass destruction. So it's a very different scale.
Yeah, absolutely. But also it's based on Shakespeare, of course, and then you have to learn these lines. And for us,
you always have to learn the lines. That's one of the first things.
I like
please.
to listen to that, but I'm only sitting comfortable in the cinema and think, oh, that sounds also beautiful. For you actors, when you have to go back and use the Shakespearean language, how difficult is it, or how easy does it come to you to do that? Nobody speaks like that anymore.
The word Shakespearean language, of which this does not use. This is not Shakespearean language.
No, but a little bit, yes.
Oh, I think I see what you're pointing to.
Yeah.
There's a hint of it.
Yeah. In that way, it's kind of like, you learn it. It comes through you. It's nice. It's nice to be given different language than the language you use traditionally, because it directs you in paths that are not necessarily the paths that you will go down.
It's finding a way of how to use that language and making it sound interesting as well.
Yeah, how to deliver that.
Well, you find a way of because you don't speak like that now.
That's what I mean. And this is kind of learning. Not a new language, but you know what I mean. You just have a different attitude when you speak.
Yeah. I do. And again, watching it last night, you can feel a lot of that, and that's a beautiful thing.
Very last question. Yesterday night, I came out of a screening, and I saw your premiere, and this was, amazing, right? Is that when you go and bring the baby, and I think the Venice Film Festival is a very good place for that movie, so glamorous.
Yeah.
When you are on the carpet, is it overwhelming sometimes, or how do you feel?
I don't feel that way about it. Yeah. I find it harder to talk to people at a cocktail party than I do to do that stuff. But it's
it's all a little bit. I find it difficult. And difficult to be at a cocktail party as well and talk to people.
There you go.
So you don't like to do small talk?
No, don't like to do any talk.
Yeah. No, it's that's kind of we're
quite similar in that.
Yeah,
way.
we are quite similar in that.
But so I'm very happy you talked to me at least.
We had
to.
So
it's contractual obligations, as the old saying goes. No, it's a pleasure.